Welcome back, everyone, to theCUBE's live coverage of AWS reInvent. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. We have the CEO of LogicMonitor in here, Christina Kosmowski here. Christina, welcome to theCUBE.
Well, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So this year at reInvent, it seems to be one of those moments in times where there's an inflection point within AWS Cloud, abstracted away all the infrastructure, so all the apps evolved, cloud native, boom, hit. Now the agent era is opening up a whole nother AI native wave. And so, I want to get your take on that. But first, you guys made some big news yourself this morning.
We did.
Share, please.
We are so excited to announce our acquisition of Catchpoint. This is huge for the industry. We've been talking about agents and the self-healing enterprise, and this just takes us one step closer to that vision. We keep businesses resilient and up and running, and we traditionally have focused on the infrastructure layer. So from the network through the data centers, through the services, and now we're adding in the internet, literally monitoring the internet and the user experience with Catchpoint. So we're the only player in the industry that can see this full from the infrastructure through the user experience, and that's very, very exciting.
Paul and I were talking on our keynote analysis prior to you coming on here about the big news around, obviously frontier agents, and you see the Nova model, kind of the open training, kind of opens up that whole kind of enterprise. We see as an enterprise, floodgates will open. The timing of your news is interesting because we're also talking about what's going on under the covers at AWS. So as a partner of AWS, this is kind of a dream scenario because the end-to-end agent workflows need core intelligence. They need observability. Yeah. They're going to make their own decisions. It's a whole nother level. Is the timing of the news and with Matt Garman's keynote, how does that connect?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely exciting, and we're a great partner and customer of AWS. We've built a lot of Edwin on Bedrock, and so Edwin is our agentic AI, and he's really the partner to the IT operations folks. And so being able to now see this full landscape, again, being able to monitor all the things that are happening at the infrastructure level, but now literally monitor and observe the internet is very exciting for us. And so we believe that we're getting to the stage where Edwin will actually go in and automatically solve any issues before they bring your systems down. And so there's going to be no human intervention, and that is really exciting.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, first of all, congratulations on the acquisition. It's fantastic. I think bringing Catchpoint and LogicMonitor together really is going to expand that observability perspective, going, not just on-prem and in the infrastructure itself, but actually going out to the internet devices as well. It's really, the IPM strategy is really exciting. I've been following Edwin since its inception, as you know, right? I mean, we've been kind of working through it. It's awesome, and it's great to see it like this little, baby kind of grow into a teenager now, and then it's growing into like a full solution of moving together. I think this strategic kind of relationship between what Catchpoint is doing and LogicMonitor is really leading towards that AI first observability kind of approach. Actionable insights. You were talking about not having to have a human in the loop, so to speak, but it also gives flexibility to have the human in the loop. So I think that's a kind of a really powerful statement, but can you touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we believe that the future is this self-healing enterprise, and we know that customers cannot keep up with the noise and the signal that's coming at them, right? Yeah. And they need to focus on what matters to their business. So whether you're a hotel who, relies on being able to check in customers at the front desk. We all were doing that here this week at AWS, or you're a pharmaceuticals company who's literally saving lives. We need to keep these systems up and running and help our customers focus on innovation and not have to worry about the business resilience.
What's interesting about that comment, though, is in our research, we see that 75% of respondents in our recent studies, the 25 research, indicate they use 6 to 15 different observability tools, and yet 54% of those respondents want to move to a unified view. Yeah. You're moving to that unified view. You're having that unified view. And when it looks at, basically, you're closing the gap between traditional observability tools to more modernized approach. Is that really what kind of the goal here is to kind of simplify it, reduce complexity, and basically reduce skill gap issues as well?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't get to this, full automation if you're not seeing everything,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what's critical. And so now being able to expand into the internet and the user experiences gives us that full stack unified platform that our customers in the market, quite frankly, has been waiting for. And so this is just really exciting because nobody else is doing this or thinking about it this way. And I think you take it one step further and it really becomes about the business outcomes we're driving and how are we connecting the infrastructure and the internet layer to how it's actually, performing. And these aren't outcomes like just MTTR and resolving problems faster. It's actually the business outcomes in terms of the experiences and the revenue that we're driving for our customers.
One of the things Amazon launched at the keynote was their kind of the first wave of agents. Kiro, autonomous agent, security agent, DevOps agents, you have your agent. That's the Amazon's contribution. AWS,
Yeah.
they know that stuff. They've kind of automated themselves.
Right.
You guys are taking that similar approach. Is there, what's the vision of as the autonomous, longer thinking, task-oriented teammate agent models come out, not just kind of chatbots, but as they become more functional?
Yeah.
What's the vision behind what's next? Because you guys have that data.
Right.
What's resonating with customers? What's the vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think, really we want to give our customers time back again so they can focus on these business outcomes. And so it's really about being able to translate that to this business value for them. And again, it's that value that they're driving. And so what's great is that we are useful for any type of company, whether it's a hospitality company, an entertainment company. I know Topgolf is popular here in Vegas, and they're a proud customer of ours as well, to literally pharmaceutical and surgery centers that are relying on us to save lives. And so everyone needs us, right? And as consumers, we all count on these businesses for our experiences. And so it's critical that we're able to ensure this business continuity for our customers and so that they can focus on what matters most to
So
them.
for the folks that don't know much about how to engage, how do you sell to, deliver the value? Is it for the business line? Also, there's a lot of technology involved. What's the engagement look like with customers?
Yeah, I mean, we really support the IT operations folks who are tasked with ensuring this business continuity, right? They're the ones that are on the front lines, often if something goes down, looking for that needle in the haystack. So now if we can prevent that and actually solve it before it becomes an issue, so we're moving from this reactive to this predictive, proactive model, it now allows them to go focus on innovation and enabling the AI transformation or whatever it is they're doing within their own organization.
And where does Catchpoint fit into that? So where do you see the synergies with
it's really exciting because Catchpoint is monitoring the actual internet and how these users are experiencing things. So we're able to come from the inside to the outside, which is something that's really important. We know the infrastructure layer is critical, and that's what we've been focusing on. But now we're saying, how does that directly translate to the outside?
I saw your LinkedIn post on Cloudflare. It was a gut punch.
Yeah.
And you shared your thoughts there because that's the reality. We saw more downtime. Amazon went down. Azure went down. There's a lot of predictions on the stability of the internet.
Yes. I mean, it's costing billions of dollars like a minute for companies right now. And I think if you look at Catchpoint, they saw the Cloudflare issue. They saw AWS before anyone else did. And so their ability to have that intelligence and that prediction is pretty incredible. And the companies that rely on Catchpoint today are, huge companies in the Fortune 100, really. And so we're excited to bring those customers on board as well.
We've been working with Catchpoint for many years as well, and the team there, and we covered that. They absolutely covered it, and so knew that what was happening as it was happening. But let's talk about competitive differentiation, right? I know that John asked a question about how you get in, how you kind of get into the mix, and between the cloud monitoring and logging and tracing and the melt metrics and all the actionable insights that kind of go along with observability. IPM is a differentiator that is kind of bringing you in line with, but also ahead of things like Datadog and Dynatrace and New Relic and other observability solutions that are out there. This is a competitive differentiator. I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you see that.
It absolutely is. Nobody else is doing this. And I think it gives us this opportunity to redefine what observability is. What is modern observability?
Right.
And this is how we view it. We believe this is where the market's going, where some of the larger competitors are forced in the past, and they're so big that it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to make this.
Yeah,
this
it's
pivot.
no longer just a point solution.
Exactly.
It's more about, here's a holistic view about that unified view.
Exactly. It's about bringing that full view and being able to see, again, not just how the infrastructure and your apps are performing, but really how is that being experienced by the user? What does it matter to your business? Because that's why we're all here, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's really exciting for us.
You guys had a lot of changes. You and I were talking in Paris this summer at the Raise Summit conference. Raise Summit. You guys have a growth strategy, hitting escape velocity. Talk about the company mission, where you guys are at. What's the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're so fortunate because we are right in the epicenter of growth and what's happening in this AI revolution. I mean, first and foremost, we're the only player who can monitor and observe hybrid infrastructure. So as companies are really building these data centers, or really the world, right? I think say that's probably the most, where most of the money is going in the world right now is to data center builds. We're the only ones that can monitor whether it's on-premise, in the cloud, the new modern GPUs. And we think about that as hybrid agility. And so as customers are optimizing on performance, innovation, cost, even energy impacts, how do they move their workloads back and forth based on what they're focused on in that moment? And so we can do that. And that's really exciting. And then second is this autonomous IT and really getting to that point with Edwin AI. And we have, close to 2 trillion metrics a day we're ingesting. So we have all of this data, and now we're going to be bringing even in more of this synthetic, high fidelity synthetic data. And so we've got all this data to really know and be predictive around these issues.
Yeah, that's a big factor. I'm glad that you hit on that, but don't undersell the power of Edwin AI, because Edwin allows for that predictive analytics, right? It root cause analysis. It also does autonomous remediation, right? And that's a piece that I think that organizations are trying to get to in their maturity. And if with something like Edwin in place, it allows them to do it more frictionlessly, right? And not have to worry about having the skill on the team to do it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing real results with our customers. This isn't just something we're sitting here and talking about. We've got, hundreds of customers using Edwin right now. And we have one customer that within 1 hour of turning Edwin on, 1 hour, they were able to resolve an issue that they'd been working on for 3 years. They literally had hundreds of engineers looking for this issue for the past 3 years. And within 1 hour of turning Edwin on, they were able to resolve it. And so this is a continuous learning tool. As we're bringing in more data, we're learning faster, we're able to continue to build on this.
Yeah,
and
Matt
so it's
Garner
very
talked about the
exciting.
productivity on stage, and he actually mentioned autonomous, 5 to 15x productivity, kind of get in 3 to 6 months in, it just hits the flywheel. I love the hybrid piece. I want to ask you about your thoughts on, as we see MWC coming around the corner, some of these events like NRF, retail, all AI shows now, telecom, the network traffic there. The edge is coming fast with hyper-converged, AI factories at the edge. Sovereignty, another big topic here with AI factories, all require instrumentation and telemetry and observability. How do you view that market? Because that's just a continuation of distributed computing, hybrid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that has always been the ethos of LogicMonitor, is that when we define hybrid, we really think about it as no matter what you're using, right? It doesn't matter to us. We have this very open view. And we actually have been operating ourselves on the edge from inception. So thank you to our founders in the way we've architected our system, is that we use a collector technology versus other observability players use an agent, not to be confused with the AI agent. So we're able
No one likes those kinds of agents. They take up a lot of space and
Those are-
traffic.
Exactly, and they have they're dumb, right? They have to ingest all of the data. Where our collection technique is very unique, where we have the intelligence, so we only have to collect the data that's necessary at the time, so we're able to operate on the edge and monitor these edge devices.
So you
as
feel
well.
really well positioned for the expansion of training, inference, all this reinforced learning at the edge.
We are completely well positioned. I think there's just nobody else that can do what we do, from the collection all the way through being able to see, this hybrid infrastructure to now the internet and the user experience. And so there's just nobody else that's thinking
I do
this way.
I do have to ask this question because I think it stays out there. Is you've done some really strategic moves, right? And this is growing LogicMonitor to a really powerful place. I'd love to hear your thoughts on. I know you have the ecosystem, but the security element, because where we see observability and security coming together in a lot of scenarios, how does that play into the strategic vision?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what's next?
Yeah, tell us everything.
I mean, I think we're constantly monitoring the market. As we know, it's moving fast. But for us right now, we're seeing a huge market, and the TAM's massive, around really being able to focus on the IT operations persona and provide value in what we were just talking about today. And this hybrid infrastructure space is growing at a pace like we've never seen before. And then now with Edwin having this extreme advantage to this autonomous IT, we're seeing a huge market there. But of course, we're constantly monitoring. We do have a logs product that we use right now just in terms of the IT operations persona, but technically it has the capabilities for the security piece. So we'll see where the market takes us.
Well, congratulations. Way to kick off the show with some great big news. I love the combination of the two companies' technologies for the hybrid world. What's your agenda for 2026? What events will we see you at? Tell us where you're going to be. We'll see where.
We're going to be out in the place, and so super excited again, really to bring this autonomous IT to reality. Like I said, we've had a lot of customers starting to use it, and we're seeing real results. But I really think 2026 is going to be the year that it comes to fruition, and we'll be at a lot of these strategic events because these are our partners and our ecosystem that we're supporting.
Is there a growth area
you
you see in? I mean, you say talk a lot of all the companies need you, but is there one area you see certain categories growing the most?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, as we mentioned, we're a horizontal product that any type of company, but if you think about who are the most complex and that are moving the most, it's the healthcare, it's the financial services, are really, really
Picking on the AI.
key.
Christina, thank you so
Yes.
much for coming on. Congratulations. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having
All
me.
right, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE with Paul Nishwai from theCUBE Research. We'll be back with more coverage after this short break.